Next I want to talk to you about the exposure triangle. The exposure triangle are three things coming together to give you a perfect exposure. The first of that is the shutter speed. The shutter is the noise that we hear whenever we take a picture. That was a slow shutter. That was only 10th of a second. So that's a very slow shutter speed. We can increase that. I'm boosting up the number. Let's go all the way, 4,000ths of a second. That was faster. Now the faster the shutter speed, the better it is at freezing fast moving subjects. Okay? Now next to that is the aperture, the second thing, the aperture. In order to get the perfect exposure, you have to have the best aperture working together as well. Now, you may see just here, this is indicating to me that my exposure is wrong. It's well dark, too dark. So I have to change my shutter speed until it gets better. There it is in the middle. So it's saying with this shutter speed and with this aperture, I could get a very good photograph. Let's have a look. That's pretty good, pretty well exposed, very nice. Now to change the aperture, we have to press the button on the top here with a plus and minus, and we can then change the aperture. Now the smaller the number, in this case, the more light comes in. The larger the number, the less light comes in. The advantages of having the number up here is it gives you a really good depth of field. More will be in focus, whereas if you turn the number of the aperture down to f5, less will be in focus. So a picture here of the camera means that anything in the background will be out of focus. Okay? Now, probably the most important thing is your ISO. You have to work with your ISO with these other two to get the perfect exposure. At the moment, I'm using quite a large ISO number, and that would mean that it might be a lower quality compared to what it should be. Now I've pressed the info button there and I can easily adjust it, and I've gone for an 800, but as you can see that it's saying that it would be underexposed. So I'm just going to move my shutter speed in this case and then take a quick picture. It looks pretty good. Okay? So I try very hard to keep my ISO number as low as I possibly can to get the best quality, but sometimes that's not always possible, and you have to use high numbers, large numbers, 5,000 ISO, which means in this case it will be overexposed. And we'll just expose it correctly, because as you see it's plus, it's overexposed. I'm actually going to bring my shutter speed down a bit, and I'm going to increase my aperture. Now it says to me my exposure is perfect. That's pretty good. A handy thing to know is that you can easily change your ISO number without having to go into the info. By pushing a button on the side here, the FM button, hold it down, and then you can use the scroll to quickly change your ISO number very easily, and then you can carry on taking your photographs.